Hi everyone! In this video I am going to show you how you can take this fun product, the Tag-A-Bag gift boxes. This is what they look like when you've got them all put together. They're sold 8 in a package. I want to show you how you can take these and cut them down into a smaller size box. So here's what I'm talking about. This is the first one we're going to do. This is cut down to 4.5 inches. So let me show you what that process looks like. Now, the first thing I like to do is when I take the box is to cut it open. I think it's easier to do your measuring, and I like to just cut it where the two seams come together. So I'll just open it up like that. And I have a template here that has all the measurements on it as well, but I'll call those out for you so you can see what to do. Now, the other things that you'll need for this is a ruler, a bone folder, and then of course some scissors, and then I also like to use a pencil as well. So get those close to you when you're doing this. So for the 4.5 inch box, we're going to make some marks. We're going to cut off this piece right here, but I'm going to leave it on while I'm measuring, but eventually that piece will get cut off. And since it is going to get cut off, on my grid paper, I'm going to line it up right on the edge of the paper at the 0 mark like that. And that way, the grid paper just comes in so handy when you're trying to measure things. It's awesome. Okay, so our first mark is at 2 1/4 inches. So I've got the seam here on the 0 line, so I'm going to measure over 2 1/4 inches and use my ruler and a bone folder. So I'll score the bottom part with the bone folder, and then the top part we're actually going to cut, so I'll use my pencil so I know to do that. And then on the opposite end, we've got to make some measurements there. So this piece right here is supposed to be 2 1/4 inches wide. So I'm going to line that up on my paper at the 8 inch mark. You can line it up wherever you want, but I'm just going to measure back from 8 inches, 2 1/4 inches. So that puts me at 5 3/4. And then I'll score. And then that's the part that we're going to cut off. Okay, now on this piece right here, we're supposed to cut off this little shape right here. And so what I have done so I can figure what that looks like is once I've cut this piece off, like we're supposed to do, cut it out across the seam here, like that, then I'll just line that up on my paper or on top of my box like that, and then trace that same shape. And so that's how you get that shape right there to cut that piece off. All right. So then you'll go back and you'll fold and score and cut and do all those things that you need to, and this is what your piece will look like when you're finished. So now when you fold this up, it's now a 4.5 inch size box. And then the sleeve that goes over the top of it, the clear sleeve, you'll just cut that down to 4.5 inches. And so this is what it looks like when you are finished. All right, let's do another size. Here's what a 3 inch box that we can do. And I'll just give you the measurements for this because you make it exactly the same way that you did the other one. So here's my piece. I cut it in so that it will lay flat. So from this point right here, this fold right here, you're going to measure back 3 inches. And this is a score line here, and then cutting there. And then right here, you're going to measure from this score line 2 3/8 inches, and you'll just cut that whole piece off. So that's what you do on this end. Down here, from this seam right here, you're going to measure over 3 inches and score it and cut it here. And then measure over 3/4 inches, and you'll cut it here, and then this is going to be the part that connects the boxes together, so I like to angle mine off just a little bit. So once you've done that, this is what your piece will look like. And then when you fold it together, and I like to use sticky strip if you're wondering what kind of adhesive you should use. I'm not going to take the time to do that in the videos, but that's the size of box that it will turn out to be. So here's what it looks like when you're finished. That's the size. Now the last box that I want to show you, it's kind of fun. It looks a little bit bigger than the last one that we did, but it's actually 2 smaller boxes. So here's what the smaller box looks like. And there's 2 of them inside this sleeve. So it's kind of fun. to make it just a little bit different with those two sizes. Now this one, when I actually measured this box, I do leave the box intact, and I've got it upside down, so let me turn it around. Okay, so this one, do not cut it apart. Let me give you the measurements real quick so you know what to do for it. So here you're going to measure over 1 3/4 inches, and then from that mark, measure over 2 1/4 inches. And that's one box right there. And then on this other side, you're going to measure from this fold here over 1 3/4 inches, and then this is 3/4 of an inch right here. We're going to measure over to there, which you've already made that mark on this side. So what's unique about these two smaller boxes is that you have to do these measurements on both sides of the box. Now, just to make it easier to fold it together, I cut off just a little bit here at the bottom on these two pieces here, so you can see that. And then we'll flip it over, and you can see I've got measurements on the back here, so you just have to follow along with those as well. So 1 3/4 inches from this edge. This is a score line, and then you'll cut here. And then from that score line, measure over 2 1/4 inches, and that's a solid cut line. And then from this piece right here, measure over 1 3/4 inches. That's a score line, and then you'll cut down here. You've already got this cut line here, so you'll just, this is where you're going to connect the boxes together, so just kind of angle that. So once you've done that part of the process, then you'll end up with two pieces that will look like this, and then you'll just fold those together to make the two smaller boxes. Okay, so you'll have two of those, and this is what they look like when you're finished. This little box like that. So I hope you have fun cutting these boxes down and making them different sizes. Maybe you'll figure out some other sizes that you can do as well, but there's 3 different sizes that you can make using those boxes. Happy stamping!